Rabbit Benny. In the emerald realm of Greenhaven, where tulips whispered gossip to daffodils and squirrels debated acorn politics, there lived a bunny by the name of Benny. No ordinary rabbit, Benny boasted a quicksilver mind that darted and dashed as nimbly as his little legs. His eyes, round and alert, gleamed with a curiosity that knew no bounds. Every morning, just as the dew began to glitter on the petals of daisies, Benny would hop along the beaten path to his daily destination, the heart of Mrs. Bramble's garden. There lay the carrot patch, a veritable paradise for any bunny. Each carrot was a feast of sweetness and crunch, their vivid orange hue promising delight in every bite. Benny's arrival was always met with cheers from his garden companions. The roses would bloom a bit brighter, their scarlet faces crinkling in delight. The robins perched on leafy branches would trill their morning songs a note higher. Even the stoic oak at the edge of the garden seemed to sway its mighty branches in greeting. One radiant morning, however, something was amiss. The path to Mrs. Bramble's garden had changed overnight. In place of the familiar dirt trail sprinkled with fallen leaves and pebbles was a towering labyrinth of verdant hedges. Benny blinked his round eyes at the labyrinth, his whiskers twitching in surprise and intrigue. The hedges loomed high above him, their shadows dancing on the ground as if teasing him to enter. The sweet scent of carrots wafted from within the maze, stirring his hunger and his adventurous spirit. After a moment's hesitation, Benny made up his mind. With a determined flick of his tail and a quick twitch of his ears, he hopped into the labyrinth. He felt a thrill ripple through him as he left behind the familiar world he knew and ventured into the unknown. His heart pounded like a drum in his chest, but he did not let fear sway him. Benny was, after all, no ordinary rabbit. His quick mind and keen senses would serve him well in this unexpected challenge. The labyrinth might have been an enigma, but Benny was a riddle solver. And so, driven by his love for carrots and his unquenchable curiosity, Benny began his journey through the twisting, turning maze of Greenhaven's great garden race. Benny plunged into the labyrinth, his small heart hammering against his furry chest. Around him, the world transformed. Shadows lengthened, twisted into strange shapes. The air thickened with an unfamiliar, earthy scent. The maze was a foreign land in his familiar garden, and yet, Benny moved with an uncanny agility. Each twist and turn of the labyrinth brought a new challenge. A sudden dead end loomed ahead, the thorny bushes blocking his path. Yet, with a quick dart to the left and a leap over a low shrub, Benny circumvented it. The once familiar paths seemed to coil like serpents under his feet, but he navigated them with a determination born of love for his treasured carrots. In this surreal garden world, Benny met with its curious inhabitants. A disgruntled earthworm grumbled about the recent upheaval of soil while a gang of sparrows chattered from above, their bird's-eye view unhelpful as they relayed conflicting directions. Amid the cacophony and confusion, a helpful ladybug offered guidance. Her tiny voice barely audible over the din of chirping birds and rustling leaves guided him towards the heart of the labyrinth. Benny thanked her in his polite bunny manner before bounding off in the direction she pointed. The labyrinth seemed to breathe around him, pulsating with an unseen life force as he ventured deeper. Suddenly, he came upon an extraordinary sight, a hedge that stood taller than the rest, its leaves shimmering with an uncanny luminescence under the sun. "Halt!" The command boomed from the hedge itself. Hawthorne, as he introduced himself, was not merely a talking hedge but a trickster with a penchant for riddles. "I see you're quick on your feet," Hawthorne said, "but let's see how quick your mind is." The riddles tumbled from Hawthorne's leafy lips, twisting and turning as much as the labyrinth itself. Benny's brows furrowed, his eyes reflecting the spark of a challenge. His love for the garden and his daily observations now played a crucial role. He recalled the number of petals on a marigold, the pattern of dewdrops on a spider web, the sequence of bird songs at dawn. Each riddle answered was a testament to Benny's keen intellect and intimate knowledge of the garden. Hawthorne's final riddle, however, was a challenge unlike any other. It required not just intellect but understanding, the secret language of Greenhaven itself. With a deep breath, Benny delved into his memories, drawing upon every encounter with the garden creatures, every whispering leaf and murmuring brook he had ever heard. The answer came to him like a ripple spreading across a pond, clear and inevitable. With an approving nod from Hawthorne, Benny continued his journey. Benny's nose twitched, picking up the familiar, earthy scent of carrots. A broad smile spread across his face as he rounded the final bend of the labyrinth and found himself in the heart of Mrs. Bramble's garden. Rows upon rows of succulent, orange roots pushed through the dark soil, standing tall and proud under the sun's nurturing rays. The sight was a symphony to his senses. With a triumphant leap, Benny hopped into the patch, burying his nose into the closest carrot. The taste of victory was sweet, crunchy, and everything he had yearned for. His heart sang with joy, and he reveled in his triumph. Suddenly, a shimmering light caught Benny's attention. He turned around to see a group of tiny figures emerging from the garden flower's shadows. Their wings sparkled like dewdrops under the morning sun as they flew towards him. The figures circled Benny before settling on a daisy nearby. Their luminescent glows softened as they landed, revealing themselves to be fairies with gossamer wings and eyes that twinkled with mischief and wisdom. One fairy stepped forward, her voice soft yet clear as she addressed Benny. "Brave Benny," she began, her voice as delicate as a petal's touch. "You've proven your courage and intelligence by conquering our labyrinth. We created this challenge in search of a guardian for Greenhaven, a creature who understands and appreciates our garden's secrets." Benny blinked in surprise, then looked at the fairies with newfound understanding. He realized that this was not just about reaching his beloved carrot patch, it was about proving his worth to these mystical beings and to Greenhaven itself. "We offer you this role," the fairy continued, her gaze steady on Benny. "Will you accept it?" Benny felt a surge of pride fill his chest. This was more than an honor, it was a responsibility he felt destined to fulfill. With a determined nod, he accepted the fairy's offer. "I will," he declared, his voice strong and clear. His acceptance was met with cheers from the fairies, their laughter ringing like tiny bells in the air. Benny felt a sense of camaraderie wash over him, a sense of belonging he had never experienced before. From that day forward, Benny's life took on a new rhythm. His daily visits to the carrot patch were now interspersed with meetings with the fairies, lessons about the garden's lore, and interactions with its many magical inhabitants. He learned to listen to the whispers of the plants, understand the chatter of the animals, and appreciate Greenhaven's beauty and complexity even more. Benny looked at Greenhaven with fresh eyes. He was no longer just a bunny who loved carrots, he was a guardian, a friend to all creatures and plants within this magical realm. The garden was alive with stories waiting to be discovered, mysteries waiting to be solved, and adventures waiting to unfold. And so Benny stood tall, ready to protect and understand his magical home's wonders, eager for the new adventures that awaited him as Greenhaven's guardian.